It's that time of year again when students flock to the small little quaint town to check out the general store, stay in the cabins, hike in the woods, and even check out that creepy asylum on the top of the hill. That's when things get interesting. Welcome to Slaughterville. The game of Slaughterville is for 1 to 6 players, where you are trying to either survive the situation, or you might be trying to kill the bad guy, or whatever the situation is. What you're going to do is you are going to pick a scenario of one to play. For this example, I have gone ahead and set up the Beast Within. So, show you the card here. The Beast Within deck. So when you set up the game, first thing you're going to do is you're going to pull out the tile for the Beast Within, and you'll find the deck that matches the picture. And in this text, it'll give you a little bit of background of what's going on, but also tell you some of the required stuff. Like, for example, it says right here that the forest must be one of the 6 locations in play. So, when you set out your locations, you're going to pick 6 locations, but for this one, the forest must be in play. So you put the forest out first, and then you go ahead and then you pick your other locations. For this preview copy, I only received 6 locations, so I didn't have that much of a choice. But we have so a residential neighborhood, a cemetery, we have a farmhouse, church, and an asylum, as well as the forest here. And each location has their own dedicated deck that you'll find, shuffle, and place right there on the board for each location itself. You will also put out the entrance to Slaughterville. That is where your characters will start. I am just using some generic meeples right here to represent my characters. These are not included in the game. I believe you'll get something a little bit better to represent your characters, but I'm just using those to represent my characters. You also get several characters in the game. What I did was I pulled out 2 here. If we can see without the shine, actually I'll just pull them up here. So let's show you my characters here first. First we have the hottie. As soon as she's in focus, there she is. And let me explain all of these numbers here on the side. These determine how many dice that you roll to see if you succeed at whatever you're trying to accomplish in the game. The first thing here is this little symbol here, which represents combat. So for her, she only rolls 2 combat dice. The next is her agility. She is not very agile, as you know, in many B movies, the hottie is not usually the most athletic and agile. Next up is nerve. So this is, you know, how much you can withstand all the scary stuff that's going on within Slaughterville. The next thing is perception, and of course, well, as being the hottie, she is not very perceptive, so she might be the first to die. We don't know. Lastly here is your health. That's how much damage that you can take before you are dead. Every character also has a special ability. For hers is come here, big guy, you know, because my voice isn't that super sexy. But while being attacked, the hottie can move another player to her location, and that player must enter combat for her. So she can get other people to fight her battles for her. So that's her advantage in the game. Also, I personally picked the nerd because, hey, nerds are cool. As you can see, his agility is a little bit better, but of course his nerve is a lot less. And then he has a little bit less health, and then his ability is Nerd Rage +1, +1 combat. So if you decide to use your ability of Nerd Rage, he'll gain +1 combat. And then for the Beast Within, as part of the setup card, you do have to pick a random character to become the bad guy in this version. So I shuffled up the cards, and randomly, the bad boy has become the bad guy in this version. So you take his stats and you add to whatever the main card says, if the main card gives him any extra abilities. So on here it does say that he gets 3+ combat, 3+ to the combat of the player chosen to be the villain. So if the bad boy is chosen to be the villain, his combat actually now goes up to 6. And then you don't have to worry about his ability in this scenario because he's just the bad guy. But if he was a regular character, he would have Roid Rage, which the bad boy, he can change the result of 1 die to a success. So he is the bad guy that we'll be fighting in this scenario. So you set up the board to whatever the scenario says on the main enemy home board. Your characters go on the entrance to the Slaughterville, and then you will start the game. So on your turn, you can do 3 different things. You can move to a location. You can trade items with a person that's at the same location, or you can decide to encounter the location. So let's just give you an example of encountering a location. So let's go ahead and let's say it is the nerd's turn. So I'm representing him with this green meeple here. And he decides he's going to go to the church. So he moved to the church, which is his first action. And his second action will be to encounter something at the church. So this is just him snooping around, exploring, seeing what's going on, trying to figure out why Mr. Bad Boy here is going all wolfy on him. So to explore, or you just pick up a card here, and you'll see what we have. See here, we have Sister Catherine here, who is an ally. Sister Catherine approaches you as you enter the church. She seems to know what you are after, even before you do. She says that she will help you rid Slaughterville of evil. Attach Sister Catherine to gain +1 perception. So that's really cool. So you can take Sister Catherine as an ally, you can attach her to your character, and now your character will have that +1. Let me show you here closer. So now, with Sister Catherine here, as hanging out with the nerd now, so now she will give you +1 perception. So now that brings him up to a 3. So now let's have the hottie's turn. Let's say the hottie, let's have her go to the asylum. So she wants to go to the asylum, and she will check out what's going on. So she moved to the asylum, then she's going to encounter the asylum. And what do we have? We have My Friends and I, human, and it's an event. Johnny may help, hurt, or hinder you. Which of his many personalities will visit you this time? Roll a d6. Okay, let's take a d6 here and roll it up here. I got a 2. So let's see here. Focus. Focus. Oh, he feels happy and generous. Heal the player for 1d3. That'd be fantastic if I had any damage. But let's see here. If I rolled a 4 or 5, he begins twitching and becomes agitated. He turns and attacks the player. Oh no! So Johnny would have a combat of 2. And then number 6, he mutters about needing to get back home and runs off, and you discard him. But let's just say we had rolled the 4 or the 5, so I can show you how combat works. So he has a combat of 2, and the hottie has a combat of 2 as well. So let's get a clear space here, and we'll roll some dice, and I will show you. Let's just say this is Johnny's roll here. So Johnny will roll 2 dice. And Johnny rolled a 6 and a 4. In this game, 5 or 6s are successes. So he had 1 success. Now the hottie had 2, so she will roll 2 dice. And she needs to get 2 successes to beat up little Johnny there. And she completely fails. So what you do is you take the difference between the successes, and that's how much damage you'll get. So these, he had 1, she had none, so he will do 1 damage to the poor hottie. So you just throw a little damage there, saying the hottie has some damage, and you'll keep going and exploring. The baddie then gets their turn, which their card determines what they do on their turn. So for example, with this, the Beast Within, they roll a die, which determines one of the things that they may do. So if they roll a 2, what you'll do is you'll roll for a random location, move the villain to that location, and then overturn cards until the first ally is revealed. Remove that ally from the game and move the villain back to the villain mat. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's just say 1 through 6 here. We roll and roll a 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have the cemetery. So let me move the camera over here to the cemetery. And let's still see if we find the first ally. That's not an ally. That is an ally. So we have the creepy groundskeeper. So the creepy groundskeeper is now removed from the game. So you just take him and you completely throw him off the board. He is no longer in the game because the bad boy here has decided to murder him. Their action that is said on the card, then you will take one of their cards and do what that says. Call of the Pact. Animal. Place Call of the Pact on top of the deck at a random location. This counts as a wolf enemy. The wolf enemy must be defeated before a player can explore the location. So he called for a wolf pack, and to do anything random, you obviously just roll a die, and you're going to do that random thing. So I rolled a 6 way up there. So this wolf pack now is going to go way over here to the residential neighborhood, and it's right there. And now that wolf pack has to be dealt with before anybody can explore the residential neighborhood. So those are just the basics of how to play Slaughterville. The game comes with several different scenarios. So for example, you have the Beast Within, which is the werewolf level that I was just showing you guys. There's also a deck for Cannibal Rednecks, which, that sounds like, a lot of fun. Also, I was given the Body Snatchers. I wasn't given the deck for this, but I was given this as a little teaser. So, creepy Body Snatchers and the beehive. I really don't know why there's a beehive, but hey, creepy. And then lastly, we have Ancient Burial Ground. So again, I didn't get the deck with this one, but this one sounds pretty interesting too, to check out, see, hey, let's explore this Ancient Burial Ground and find out what's going on with these. The game is pretty fun. It has that bad B-movie feel. Not saying it's a bad game, it just emulates those really cheesy horror movies that everybody gets into around Halloween. So if you like that type of movie, or even if you don't like that type of movie, it's really fun to kind of get into those characters, like the hottie and stuff. Let me actually show you some of the other characters. Let me go grab those. Okay, I'm back here. Because actually the characters are actually pretty cool in this game. I like how they, all the artwork in the game uses these like photograph images of people or locations or anything like that. So I really like that feel, so you kind of get more into that B-movie feel. But for example, you have like the goth chick. And she's actually my favorite character in the game because I love her special ability. Her special ability is ambivalence. The goth can ignore 1d3 of damage because of the vast amount of not caring. That's just hilarious. Next up, there is a spiritualist. There's a snoop who surprisingly, kind of looks like one of my neighbors. It's creepy, but he really does. We have the jock, and then of course we have, you know, the stoner, and then you already saw the nerd, the hottie, and the bad boy, which are all of those classic horror movie tropes to throw in there. As I said, the graphics, I really like the graphics in there. I love all the little cosplay people. I don't know if they're cosplayers or just photos or whatever, but I do like how that kind of brings in that feel of, you know, you're going through, you know, this town, trying to figure out what's going on, fighting combat against the bad guy, trying to do that. It is a lot of fun. I do highly suggest it. Please make sure you check it out on Kickstarter. It should be on Kickstarter very, very soon, if not already. So I will put links down below to check it out. So check out Slaughterville, have some fun, have some B-movie horror fun, and make it a night of it. You know, throw in some horrible B-movies, then break out this game, and have a good laugh, have a good time, solve a mystery, and don't get murdered. Unless you're the one who always gets murdered first, because there's always one that gets murdered first. Isn't that the rule? I don't know. I don't watch those movies. But anyways, check it out. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and support Cloak and Meeple. Thanks, guys. But for example, you have like the goth chick. And she's actually my favorite character in the game because I love her special ability. Her special ability is ambivalence. The goth can ignore 1d3 of damage because of the vast amounting. Let's try that again.